Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. And I want to start off with, we honored, you could argue the best football team ever to play here at Northwestern with the 1962 team. And to have, about 30 of those guys last night at a reception and to see the camaraderie and the chemistry and the brotherhood, 55 years removed from them being number one in the country, I thought was one of the more special opportunities that I've had to experience our Wildcat family as a head coach last night. And then to honor the late, great Ara Parsegian with the patch and on our helmet. I said it when I went to South Bend for his services, and I talked to Katie, his wonderful bride, about a month ago, asking her if it was okay, and I asked her again on Monday if it was okay if we honored Coach. And a great friend and a great mentor and an unbelievable coach that we honored today. So my hope is that he's looking down on these guys with a big smile on his face, hanging out with Walk and some of our other Wildcats that are up there, probably playing the back half of their 18 holes right now in heaven. But just special for that. To the game, just really proud of our guys. I thought we were really resilient. We knew this was going to be a battle. And, playing a team that we have so much respect for and watching the way that they've played on tape, preparing for today, we knew it was going to be a struggle. We were going to have to fight for every inch, and that's exactly what happened. Big plays down the stretch. Great players show up in big-time moments, and to see some of those plays, big-time players make big-time plays in those moments, and we had guys step up. So great team win. Very thankful for our students that came out today, and we're going to need you again next week as we get ready to take on a great Spartan team here at 2:30. So very thankful for our student support and our fan support coming out and being a part of it. So with that, how about some questions, please?
Two from me. Fitz, how do you describe the Justin Jackson play there on 3rd and 9?
Well, wow. Yeah, what a great play. He's got the ball in space, and he's just being Justin. It looked like just a pure attitude play. He willed his way to get what he got done. And, he had to make some great players miss. And to see the way that he did that was really just very Justin Jackson.
Difficult or easy call to play for overtime there?
Well, it was the same thing I did at the end of the first half. We're going into the wind. As you saw, you guys probably had a better vantage point from the top, seeing Charlie's field goal. I mean, that thing almost backed up. That's how much the wind started to blow there. So I felt like our defense was playing really well. I wanted to run the ball on first down to see if we can force Kirk to take his timeouts. And then if we got him to take his timeouts, then we could be aggressive after that, because I did not want to punt into that wind because our defense was playing so well, and so was theirs. So, I wanted to play a 25-yard game, and that was the decision that we made. And to our guys' credit, they went out and executed there in overtime. Great job by them.
Fitz, it seems like things are tightening up all around the league. If you look at scores, defenses looking real solid as you get to this middle of the season. Talk about what's making that happen.
Probably familiarity with each other. You look at the consistency in our league from a coach's standpoint. You look at the consistency from a playing standpoint. It's just been, like I was talking in my postgame with WGN. I see Kirk and his staff before the game. It's like seeing your cousin. We've been together against each other forever. And, even after the game, I'm like, we just got to stop doing this to each other. I mean, it just seems like these games go down like that. And it'll be the same thing next week with Coach D'Antonio and his crew. I mean, we've been competing against each other for a while. We all know each other. We all respect each other. And I think that's what makes this league so special.
Sticking on defense, but talking about your defense specifically, two questions. One, in terms of big plays down the stretch, were there any that you saw from your defense in the fourth quarter overtime that stuck out now?
Well, big interception, right? In a tight game like that, anytime you can take a possession away, that's huge. And they had the wind, so they're going to probably flip the field on us. It was a field position battle game. You could tell that pretty much early on. That was the way it was going to go. So that was big. And then obviously the 4th down play. Pretty fortunate there from that standpoint. It was actually the exact route that we told the guys they were going to run because they, I think, scored on it and then completed it 3 other times. So that was what we anticipated, and it looked like we fell off coverage. So credit them for executing all the way through until the end of the catch. So we had a drop on a critical 4th down. They had a drop on a critical 4th down, so that's a wash.
And then also it seems like, especially Wisconsin Penn State seemed like the offense was struggling, but the defense was still playing pretty well. I think it's at all a load off for them to have a game where they really step up and carry the team to the finish line. The defense does at the end.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to what I said on Monday. I got asked if Maryland must have stunk. That's why we played well, and we played 2 top 10 teams that have outstanding defenses. I mean, that's going to happen, and we played just another outstanding defense. I think Iowa played a pretty damn good defense in us. It's a defensive league. I mean, Herb just asked about it. I mean, that's what it is right now. So when that happens, I mean, you're fighting for every millimeter out there. And I thought our offensive line the last 2 weeks has played much improved. I thought the sacks today were created because they covered us and because we held the ball. I didn't see us get beat, but maybe one time. And, that's going to continue to go that way.
Penn State's a pretty good offense, too, though.
Yep.
What did you tell the offense specifically at halftime after they really weren't able to get much going and then opened the second half with a couple of long drives?
Yeah, I disagree. I thought we had plenty going. We self-inflicted wounds across the 50. I mean, I didn't chart it, but I don't know how many times we were across the 50 in the first half with no points. It was probably 5 or 6 times. I don't know, maybe 5. I don't know. You guys probably know better than I do, but we can't get holding calls. We can't not execute across the 50-yard line. That's when you've got an opportunity to take that next step. And we didn't do that. And again, credit Iowa. I mean, that's an outstanding defense that we went against. They make you earn every inch. And that's just the way this league is right now. I mean, everybody's playing pretty well on defense.
How much of a factor was wind throughout the game? You've mentioned it a few times, but a lot of decisions to go for it on 4th instead of kick the field goal. Just overall, what kind of big of a role did it play?
Well, I think most of those decisions were in the alumni zone. Which if I get it, everybody says great job. If I don't, everybody says I'm an idiot, right? The alumni I'm talking about. So you guys aren't alums yet, so you can't say that. Teddy can though. But at any rate, we're going to make decisions based on every factor that we have that we can look at. We talked through those things pregame. I mean, we talked through it again at halftime, talking to Charlie about where do you feel good. He felt great, on the one that we ended up kicking the field goal. He felt good from the distance prior for it when we went on 4th down. But I just felt like, trying to get a touchdown there really could give us an opportunity to see some momentum. And, to Iowa's credit, they stiffened, and then we had to take the points right there when it was 4th and forever.
I know you won't go into game plan specifically, but what made your front 7 on defense so effective today? Looked like Joe Gaziano, Sam Miller particularly were setting the edge really well. Yeah,
I think they've been really solid for the last month. I know we gave up some points against Penn State, and we gave up a couple of tough ones against Wisconsin, but, I think we've been pretty solid up front all year. Having Patty out there for the whole game, I thought Brett had another really solid game, but it starts up front. And I thought our defensive line, again, from the way that they're preparing, it's showing up on Saturday. I mean, for them to play as consistent as they're playing right now, it goes back to the way that they're preparing, and they're doing just a terrific job. Marty Long and Deontay Gibson are doing a great job with those guys.
2 questions, Fitz. Atmosphere in the locker room at halftime, you guys were, calm despite being down or all that?
Depends on which side of the ball you're talking about. Offensively, we were pretty demonstrative because we thought we weren't fighting, especially on the perimeter. I've never been a part of a game that we've had 3 offensive pass interference calls, so I'm going to have to look at that to see what we got to do to coach that better. But I'm tired of watching people grab the crap out of us. We play 2 teams that just are grabbing us. Our jerseys are getting pulled, and everybody says we can't get separation. Now we go out and play physical and we get OPI. So I'll take the penalties of aggression, but we're not going to let people hold us. So I got to take a look and see how we can coach it better. It starts with us, but we're not going to allow that nonsense to happen again. And so we'll take a look at it and see how we can coach the guys better.
And then other question about Era, and were you thinking about him yesterday, today? How do you try to channel, his greatness into this?
Yeah. I really thought about him over the weekend, Teddy, when I knew we were honoring the 62 team. And I wanted to I sent Katie an email, just double checking to make sure it was okay with her that we wore a patch and we wore the sticker to honor Era. And, it's just, I feel very fortunate to have the relationship that I have. I told the guys last night when I was visiting with them, the 62 team, I got like 10 small slices of them, 10 great days when I went to lunch with him on spring break when I was down in Naples and he was in Marco. And, his wisdom, his support, his friendship. That'll be something that I will cherish. I mean, up in my office, obviously, are pictures of my family, our seniors, our team, Gary and myself, and then a picture of myself and Era. That type of impact on me. And, for us to win today when we were honoring him, it's a big deal to us collectively. But selfishly, it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal personally.
You said that the way the defensive line is playing is a credit to is a reflection on the way they're preparing.
Yeah.
Where do you see it on the field?
I see it everywhere. I don't see mental mistakes. I see us controlling our gaps. I see us fundamentally executing pretty well. I see when we make little small tweaks during the game, which we had to make a handful. And I got to credit Iowa now. Their bye week, they self-scouted some things. When we were having to adjust, especially defensively. Their offense. Got to credit Brian Ferentz. They did a nice job. They did some things. We went, oh, okay, there we go. There's the bye week. Just we had to make some adjustments, and I thought our front seven really handled that well.
Coach, going back to special field position for a second, two-parter. One, Hunter, 51 yards per punt. How big was he for you guys to do? And secondly, his 80-yarder was the longest in Big Ten this year, and the longest for Northwestern since '95.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was a 90-yarder in '95. Do you remember that by any chance?
I was probably covering it. No, I was probably gassed. I don't running that far. No, I don't. Number one, he was punting into the wind. That helps, or with the wind. That helps. I mean, you guys play golf? Okay. Not well. Me neither. So, into the wind, right? You drop it low and drive it, and with the wind, you kind of, tee it high and let it fly, right? So, again, I think he's had a really good year, really good senior campaign, and really happy for him. And there were a couple of plays out there. I thought we were really close to popping one of the punt returns, but that wind was playing tricks on both sides, returners, and it was not an easy win to try to field the ball. Did you see the guy trying to catch those punts in between? That was tough. Yeah, I just talked to Riley, and he's just like, Coach, it's moving all over the place. I said, all right, cool, we'll get going next week. I got great confidence in both those guys. You saw Riley's ability to make some plays and make some guys miss on the one return. So,
you said you've taken a lot of factors when you're deciding on like that 4th and inches. Are you thinking at all about, is this going to hurt Charlie's confidence?
No. I talk to him all the time. Oh, no. Charlie knows I've got great confidence in him. I have 100% confidence that Charlie can make any kick that I put him out there for. And I have 100% confidence he won't miss when I don't put him out there. So, I just felt, especially in those areas, and, those areas where you're kind of in that alumni zone, trying to be aggressive. We're being aggressive. We're playing to win. As we talk through things, we talk through that during the week. We talk through it in game. Sometimes it adjusts and changes in game with what we're going to do and how we're going to play those scenarios. But, my decisions to go for it on 4th down have zero to do with Charlie. I have 100% confidence in his ability. And you're right, I'm not going to put him in a situation where I don't feel 100% confident he's going to make the kick. So that's the way I've been approaching it all year, and I don't think I'll stop as the year goes along.
You call it the alumni zone because that's where the alums have the most questions?
Well, no, if I make it, they go, that's my guy. When I don't miss it, they're like, why does he always do? He's been doing that for 12 years. Why does he keep doing that? So I get it. That's why I'm going gray.
Fitz, is there something to be said for having the ball in the first possession of overtime, getting out there and kind of establishing yourself, or would you generally prefer to get it second, or what's your thoughts on that?
Good question. Yeah, I'd rather go defense. Yeah, just by, again, knowing what we have to do, obviously they then had the advantage that they could go for it on 4th down. So you always want to try to choose defense there. We had the choice. Do we want to go into the wind, or do we want to, play with the wind? And that's why I chose to go overtime. I wanted to go play with the wind, at least in the first overtime. So in case we end up potentially having to go offense first, I felt with great confidence that even if we didn't get any yard, that Charlie would be able to make that field goal.
Did today's performance remind you at all of the 2015 team where defense really dominated the game and was enough for you guys to win?
I haven't had time to reflect on that, but it's probably I'm assuming pretty similar games. I thought today was just a great Big Ten defensive battle. I think 2 really good defenses, two really physical football teams that just went toe-to-toe for however many series we had, however many plays both sides had. The kick, I mean, just, you know, there were good and bad on both sides of our team, and same thing for them and in the kicking game. But, you know, I just thought this was one heck of a Big Ten football game. If you're a Big Ten fan, you had to enjoy today, I think. I did, at least. Did you have a question? I'm sorry, you had your hand up.
Yeah. On the in overtime, and I apologize if you've answered this already. Okay. The reception by Jackson on third down, how big of a play was that, particularly the tackles that he broke there?
You know, probably the difference in the game. You know, when you look at that type of play, again, a great player making a big-time play. And, you know, it was really neat to see how excited I was facing the crowd because I was getting my headphone on when they showed the video of Justin, you know, winning the award, and I saw all kinds of Iowa fans clapping. You know, I think that just goes to show you the respect I think that everybody in this league has for JJ, and, you know, big-time play by him right there. And I don't think Iowa did anything wrong. I just think he made a great play, and he's a great player. Very honored and thankful to be his coach.
Coach, we saw Garrett Dickerson go down sometime in the first half. Yeah. Do you have any update on his injury status?
Yeah, he went back in and played a little bit, so he was limited there in the second half, but he went back in and played. So, you know, I anticipate that he'll be, you know, maybe limited early in the week, but I expect him to continue to go.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Anything else? You guys good? Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Go Cats.